Would like to say thank you to all of our listeners and sponsors who donate to help keep our media program alive. Reaching the community, the Juice Radio Network continues to expand as influencers in the community of North Tulsa and beyond, but can't do that without your help. That's why it's important that we as a community continue to support the Juice Radio Show and keep 89.9 on the air. The community not only deserves this service, but needs this service. Let's continue to support the mission and giving a voice to the voiceless and donate to the Juice Radio Show. The Juice Radio Show is a nonprofit 501c3 powered by KBOB 89.9 and Eden Media Services, operating solely off the gifts, donations, and contributions made by listeners like yourself. All donations made to the Juice Radio Show are tax deductible and can be sent to 1216 North Lansing Avenue, Suite D, Tulsa, Oklahoma 74106.
It's Tulsa, Tulsa, I see you here in Tulsa. I'm in Tulsa chillin'.
We appreciate your continued support and thanks for listening to KBOB 89.9 FM.
Hello, everyone. This is Dr. Eloise and Joseph Hill. Welcome to Love in Real Life, where we talk all things relationships. Now, we don't have any real claim as experts, but combined, we have 85 plus years of marital experience, and that has taught us how to lead conversations, such as, do you have agreement before alignment? Did you know that potentials have expiration dates? Our goal is to help prepare you for relationship resets as we all continue the work of becoming the best version of ourselves. So you're in the right place at the right time. Let's get this week's segment of Love in Real Life started.
Good afternoon, KBOB family. We are happy to have you with us today. I hope you're staying safe and dry as much as it is possible in this rain today. Appreciate the rain, makes the flowers grow. I don't have to water my flowers in the front yard with it, but still, it's not very nice to be driving in. So I hope you are being safe. And our topic for today is time for a reset. As we come to those times in our life when we are dealing with trauma of whatever case it may be, whether it's divorce, loss of loved ones, financial crisis, major conflicts in marriage, we want to talk about the steps necessary to move forward in that.
Speaking of reset, we had to hit a little reset today because I thought we were talking about eye candy or eye sore. However, since my husband informed me, no, not according to my schedule. So I had revised the schedule and had forgot to tell him about it. So we had to hit a reset of our own today. But we are talking about time for a reset, and we're so happy to have with us in the studio today, Mr. Stephen Thomas. Welcome aboard. Would you shout out to our Hilltop lovers today?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. You know, I'm one of the Juice members, and you know, I'm glad to be on this show with y'all. Y'all funny and stuff. Y'all real funny.
Oh yeah, we keep it real up in here.
Well, now you don't hesitate to jump right in there.
Yes,
we want to hear from you too.
So we're talking about a reset, and this topic more or less came out of my own life when I had moved back to Tulsa from Atlanta, and I was shopping around for car insurance, and I came across this guy, and I just was like on the negative stuff. I didn't want to ever come back to Tulsa, Oklahoma. I love y'all, my people, but I was tired of the racism and the issues, so I wasn't ever coming back. But somehow I came back, and so I needed car insurance, and I was shopping around, and this guy, I didn't even end up buying car insurance from him. I believe he was sent by God to tell me this, that do you know how blessed you are? How many women would love to be in your shoes and get to hit that reset button and start their life all over again? And I was complaining. I was in my 50s and I was on life. And I had it up to here. And I just was over it. And so to be able to listen to what he said and really allow those words to penetrate deep into my heart, that I was looking at it from a negative point, and I needed to flip it to a positive and say, yeah, things were bad. I had gone through a divorce after 33 and a half years of marriage, and my mama had died, and I had moved to Atlanta and thought I wasn't coming back. I was back, and I was getting to hit the reset button again and start my life over. And so that's kind of where this topic stems from.
Mm-hmm.
I looked at Genesis chapter 50, verse 19 and 20 in reference to Joseph and his brothers when he was sold into slavery, and they had a famine had entered the land, and they had ended up having to come not knowing that Joseph was Pharaoh, but the brothers and the family had to come to him because people were starving. And when they did, Joseph said to them, "Do not fear, for am I in the place of God? As for you, you meant evil against me, but God meant it for good, to bring it about that many people should be kept alive as they are today," and that is from the famine that was going on. Joseph reminded his brothers that they bore the responsibility for the evil decision that they had made concerning him to sell him into slavery.
Mm-hmm.
And yet he recognized that. He did not minimize the decision that they had made and the wrong that they had done towards him, but neither did he withhold mercy from them and from the other people that would have been saved through this. So responsibility and forgiveness can coexist when we come to those points where we'd say that our life feels shattered, we're lost, and we have to rebuild. And that's what we want to talk about, the tools that we would use today to rebuild those things. And remember, many times, and as we go through this, that the same events that demonstrate human malice, God often demonstrates in them divine mercy.
Mm-hmm.
Good thought. Good thought. But when we look at the word reset, a personal reset is a conscious process of reassessing your life, letting go of what no longer serves you, and implementing intentional changes to restore or gain balance and clarity. And so when that takes action on our part, we have to, sometimes they say you have to be sick and tired of being sick and tired before you really do something. Not everybody has to get to that point before they're motivated to take action, but sometimes when you're in a situation where you're in need of a reset, that is a lot of times the situation. A personal reset involves stepping back to evaluate your habits, your priorities, and your energy levels, because you might have a good mindset and you might want to really go out there and do it. But if you don't have the energy, if your energy is down and it's off, you're not able to vibe and give out the frequency of energy that you need to, then you're going to have to shut things down, slow things down, and take a reset. Mm-hmm. So that you can be able to perform at the level that you need to. It's not about being perfect. It's about restoring balance and creating alignment across your mental, emotional, physical, and spiritual aspects of life.
Yeah, I think step one in doing this is to realize the reality of the trauma. And some that may seem kind of silly, but denying the pain doesn't help. And so often that's what people do. Joseph acknowledged the wound that his brothers had wounded him with and what they had done. I mean, he from being sold into slavery to prison and then to palace, and then God had brought it to this place where he was being reconciled not only with his family, but helping them to reconcile with him. And denying that does not serve us any purpose. I mean, as we've been talking about, so many people passing away and dealing lately, seems like as we grow older, dealing with that. And we have to allow ourselves to grieve. We have to recognize the reality of that. And many times that means we have to pray. I call them raw prayers. That's when you say, God, what are you doing? What have I done to deserve being? Why have you put me in this position? There's nothing wrong with saying those kind of raw prayers. But it's the first step is recognizing the reality, acknowledging that the reality of that trauma, whatever it might be.
Yeah. And because I think in the church, a lot of times we're taught to just pray about it. Oh, you just pray about it, honey. It's going to be all right. But that that just it's on the skin of my teeth. And I don't mishear me. Listen to the words coming out of my mouth.
Yes, ma'am.
I said that's not the only thing, but to me, it's like church. Just pray about it. Well, I pray about it, and then what? I love to pray. So praying about it is not an issue for me. And I was praying about it for 33 and a half years. I was praying about it to get fixed, and it just didn't get fixed because prayer alone is not enough. I wish the church people could say amen right there, because they the way it's been taught to me, if I just pray about it, everything will be okay. If I just pray about it, he'll learn how to keep his penis in his pants. If I just pray about it, he'll learn how to be true to me as his wife. If I just pray about it, well, dang, do you think in 33 and a half years I wasn't praying about it? I was a praying sister. But prayer alone doesn't fix it. It only extends an opportunity to the other person in the situation to look at themselves, like you're saying, take a look at yourself and see where you're at, to assess this really isn't working. We're not able to move forward in this situation. We're just on a merry-go-round going around and around and around.
So as we first recognize the reality of the trauma, whatever that situation might be, the next thing that I think we need to do in the steps that we would take is to embrace God's intention for good. God doesn't cause evil. I appreciate all the philosophical discussions that go on to this. I appreciate all of them things, but God does not cause evil. Satan and the sinful human nature is what causes evil in our world. But God will redeem it if we will give him that opportunity. And again, this all comes back to us having to make that choice to let God do that. What seemed like detours in Joseph's life, for example, and I'm sure we're all very familiar with that story, was actually God's divine direction. And it's hard to see when we are in the midst of this and trying to figure out what God is doing and where he's going with it. It's easier to look back in hindsight. So many things in my life, I look back and why did you do this? I was doing this job for you. I had this going and this was working out good. We were reaching people, pastoring churches, and yet I had this tremendous crisis come up and this challenge, and we ended up having to come back down. My wife got sick, her insurance reached its lifetime maximum. We had to get back to where we could get her in the Cherokee health system. And I'm saying, I don't understand. So it's in those places where we have to say, God, I don't understand. I don't know what you're doing, but I'm trusting you. I'm trusting you that you're going to lead me and guide me out of this, even though I don't understand it.
And a lot of times we can't understand, because if we could understand, we wouldn't need faith.
True.
Right?
Yeah, true.
We walk by faith and not by sight. And if I can understand everything that God is doing, I don't need faith. But it's an important part of our walk as believers that's our border of exchange. I believe and I have hope, and I have faith in God that, like he told me before I met Joe, was just get in the back of the limo. Let me take you where I want you to be. You ain't got, and if y'all ever been in a limo, if you haven't, please go do that. But it's a beautiful thing. You can be in the back of the limo, and I took 9 of my friends one time. We went down to Dallas, and I went to Oklahoma City and caught the train, but we took the limo from my house to the train station in Oklahoma City, and we just had it. We had a girlfriend weekend. We got a good old time. But it's just being in the limo. I know a lot of my friends had never been in one, and that would have been a lot cheaper to get a car, or, take the bus guy.
Wanted to feel fancy.
Oh yeah, we had to go fancy. We had to go fancy. But just to be able to do that. But the concept is, I wasn't telling that limo driver where to go. Wait. Oh, you need to get over there in that other lane because these people are going too slow. That would be me. But we weren't doing that. We were just in the back of the limo having a good old time and just enjoying. We already had given him the instructions, so he knew where we were going. And God already knows. We don't even have to give him the instructions. We don't have to have him make sure the navigation is on and we're going where we're supposed to be. But just that faith and trust in him that he knows everything. And Not that he causes these things, but he's given us a gift called free choice, free will. And because of that, then he's able to get all these things. I kind of like orchestrating all these things, all the movements of the people, even the movement for what you went through in your 31 years with your wife being sick, me, what I went through with 33 years of unfaithful spouse, and then 16 years of waiting for you.
Thank you for waiting for me, honey.
You're welcome.
I appreciate it greatly.
You're welcome.
That's good. That's good. No, I wanted to ask y'all something real quick.
Sure.
So, well, I'm gonna tell y'all. I asked. Yeah. So I was watching a movie last night. It was like about a boy that wanted to be good at playing a guitar or something. He was like eager to go to the band. It was like back in the days, like when slavery was still around. His dad was a preacher, so, and so the son was like really desperate to be a good guitar. You know what I'm trying to say.
He knows all the he plays all the instruments except drums.
Yeah. So he was he was like, desperate. So one episode he had basically summoned Satan, and he had basically sold his soul to get better. And his dad didn't want him in the house. Like his dad kicked him out, and so he could see him be good, but he didn't have no soul, and he was like, we're lost. Like one day he died, and his soul got lost in the hell.
It's kind of deep.
Yeah.
What were your thoughts about that?
I don't mess with the devil.
Oh, good.
That was a lie.
That's good.
That was a lie.
Yeah. He John 10:10 says he only comes to steal, kill, and destroy. But, and we always say, okay, read that, but go to what's after the but. I have come to give you life and life more abundantly. So that's the part we focus on, is that Jesus came to give us life and life more abundantly. But Satan is going to do his thing, right? He can't help but be who he is. But in spite of who he is, Jesus has given us, if he steals this, we got access to more, because we have life and life more abundantly. So we just keep drawing from the well that never runs dry.
Yeah, I think it makes a good movie and a good song theme, but I'm not sure I can know of any biblical justification for saying you can sell your soul to the devil and have it be an unredeemable situation like that. That makes for good movies anyway. But the other side of that thing is, so many times we get lost when we're trying. We have this musician, we have this celebrity that we're looking to, or we have this goal, and it we sacrifice everything, including our morals, in order to accomplish and be a part of this, whatever it might be, or learn whatever it is. If we're wanting to be play an instrument or something like that, and we lose our focus, and we lose our focus on God in doing that, and it many times leads us down. And all we have to do is look at the dark side of the celebrities that we so often worship as young people, especially, to see where it actually leads to. But
yeah, it's a form of idolization, or idolatry. So, but even with that, we can hit the reset button, and we can find our way back and get connected to the path that we're supposed to be on. The scripture I'm coming from today is Philippians 3:13 and 14. Forgetting what is behind and straining toward. That means I'm putting an effort in moving forward into what's ahead. I press on toward the goal to win the prize for which God has called me heavenward in Christ Jesus. And this is about a purposeful forward movement. It's not, if you're going on a trip with, you have intention about finding out where you're going, choosing where you're going, and then you make preparation in line with that place. And you have to be intentional. You can't just sit at home and say, oh, I want to go to Dubai, and that's just it. No, you have to put intentions and effort and movement toward whatever the goal is. And so that's what reset is about, is being able to put your intention and your purpose and movement toward whatever your goal is. And some people, I didn't even really know I needed a reset until that guy said that to me. But signs that you might need a reset are include feeling overwhelmed. Are you feeling overwhelmed or burnt out? Maybe, I'm trying to get my friend in there to take a vacation. I know he needs it to take some time off and get away. Just be able, even if it's a staycation, just go, get away. Don't talk to nobody. Put the phone down. Just reset your brain, reset your heart's intention, reset everything. And even if it's 24 to 48 hours, I know he's got a lot going on. He may not can do it for 2 weeks, but 24 to 48 hours, just get away, turn the phone off. And I promise you, stuff is going to happen because life is always lifing. But it shouldn't be to the point that if 24 hours makes that big of a difference, then okay, what are we doing anyway? But just to reset, everybody needs a reset. When I pastored, the Lord had me on every 6 weeks, I had to go on a sabbatical. If it's 24 hours, 36 hours, 48 hours, 72 hours, a week, just get away. I'm not dealing with counseling with anybody. I'm not praying for anybody's problems and issues. I'm not going to the jail to get somebody's kid out of jail. I'm not at the hospital praying a baby into the world. Nothing. Just chilling, complete chilling. I had to watch one place I go because when I would go, then Sister Eloise is in town. And then they call all the people and then it turned into a service. So I had to find me a new location. But you have to have those moments of reset. If you don't, you will burn out. Our bodies are made in God's image, and He has given us ways for our body to heal itself. But because we live in this world, I just say that our government has decided everybody's going to be a drug addict. We got chemicals everywhere. It's in our air, it's in our food, it's in our clothes, it's in our hair, it's everywhere. Chemicals. And so because of that, then it's not like when I grew up. When I grew up, a potato was a real potato. A tomato was a real tomato. Watermelon, oh my God, that stuff was so good. With the black seeds.
No genetic engineering.
No genetic
engineering. But now it's like processed food.
Yeah. You don't know what you're getting. And our bodies was not really made to digest that processed stuff. So we have to really take a look at what we're doing. We need a reset. I mean, I would love to be able to get I don't want to farm it at my big age, but because my birthday's coming up Sunday.
Oh, you're going to be
72. Hey.
Oh, you don't like Mr. Bobby.
Yeah, I said I've been knowing him since he's 5. We went to kindergarten together.
Oh, so y'all
lifelong friends. Yeah. But you have to be able to do things different because our bodies was not meant to hold and chamber the stress and the trauma, the brokenness, the wounds. In your natural body, if you broke your arm, would you just sit around and say, I'm going to pray about it and let it heal itself?
I'm going to the hospital.
Right?
I'm going to the hospital.
But you got people, this is how they think. God is just going to do it. Well, okay.
Those big believers. That's what it is.
It's like no common sense. But we have to do things because we're supposed to take care of our body because this is where God lives. He's chosen to live within us. And so we have to take care of our bodies. My biggest thing is rest and exercise. My husband is a athletic person. I'm going to use my nice words. And he rides a bike today. So today would be
this was a run day.
A run day. So today was a run day. He ran how many miles?
3 miles.
Oh yeah.
So tomorrow is
smooth.
A bike day. And
we won't. We got to go. Whoa.
But if it wasn't,
I'd be riding the bike.
And how far would you go?
10, 11 miles.
So he's really in it. I'm not in it like that.
You walk around the block with me.
I do. I walk around the block, but I'm not a big fan of outdoors. See, that's the thing. But learning to reset, we want our bodies to be here a long time. I don't want to live and have a poor quality life. Just to say I had a big birthday. I made it to 95. Yeah, but the last 20 years, you couldn't do nothing for yourself.
Yeah.
Somebody had to brush your teeth, wash your face, put you in the shower. No. That's not worth it to me just to have years under my belt. I want to have a quality life. I've not been out this country yet. I still have to go to Africa, go to Ghana, got to go to Uganda, got to go to Nigeria to see my people. So we have to take care of our bodies because they have to take us where we're going. The real us lives on the inside of this house, and we have to take care of this house. But we're not going to get a lot of help from our government because they decided it's better for us to be sick and keep coming to get medication and all those things so that we can keep their pockets big and fat. And a lot of people are unfortunately caught up in that loop, and they're having to go to the doctors all the time and take medicines, and then they don't understand that it's not natural medicine, right? So this stuff that they've made in a lab somewhere, it's processed, and it comes with side effects. So you take one pill. I remember years ago, my mother worked for this lady in the Utica Square area.
Yes, ma'am.
She said, "Oh my God, my lady takes 20 pills a day." Yeah, and I said, she ain't gonna never get well. And I didn't mean no harm. I just facts. She's not gonna get well. She's chasing side effects because she took 2 pills. Then she got side effects from every pill. Then you still got to take more pills to handle those side effects, and more pills. And it's just a mad cycle. And they know it. They know a lot of times the medicines and things that they introduce to us to take, we can't even name the names when it comes on a commercial. If we couldn't hear it, we wouldn't be able to say it if we just was trying to read it from the screen. But you look at all the side effects. A lot of the side effects are the same, but why is the side effects the same from the medicine you give me to deal with something in my head and then something else for my foot? Why are the side effects the same?
It's the same thing you take. Same thing.
But they want me to be convinced. Anyway, that's not our subject, but these are my soapbox moments. I don't like it. I don't like that we're in this place that where we've been put in a place to be so dependent on that pill and to keep their pockets. I remember when my mom went through cancer and my sisters and them thought, oh, let's take her to a natural doctor because these medical doctors are not working. So I got to take her to the natural doctor, and I told my mom, I said, I can go online and I can become a DO and I can write them same prescriptions. He giving you 7 pills for $45. I said, did you count the people in his waiting room from the time we got there to the time we left? About 20 people. He's seeing you for 10 to 15 minutes. So every few minutes, he got another person coming in selling them some pills for $45. I said, I have a printer at home. I can make them up on and just order the bottles offline and just get the pills. And
it's easy. It's easy. Some people don't really go to the pharmacies. They like do their own stuff, natural medicine, make their own medicine.
But you got making your own is one thing. But some of this stuff, like at some of these natural stores, you got to realize that whatever is trendy and fat and the fad right now, whatever it's a popular thing. Remember when before we got bottled water? Y'all might not because y'all kind of young. But before we got bottled water, we remember you could just get water out the tap, drink out the water hose, no problem. You can't. You really shouldn't do that.
I drank out of the water hose an awful lot.
Why'd they stop that?
Because the government decided we needed to legislate water because we can make money, right? They go in these rooms and they decide all this stuff. I worked up on Capitol Hill, and they decide all this stuff that if we sell water, then now we need to create the Clean Water Drinking Act. Now we got to get chemicals to go in the water that was already clean. But we can't sell you that water like that. If you get a house and you get water piped in, but making water, like the money they make off of bottled water.
It's like
Joe was an engineer. He used to make and go deliver the chemicals. You see the water towers when you're traveling? Yeah, he used to sell to those towns so they can put the chemicals in there to purify the water.
I mean,
and some of it did. Some of it was legit. I appreciate that. But when the Safe Drinking Water Act and I'm going to really oversimplify it without getting technical, it was written by politicians, not scientists.
Exactly.
And they said, it'd be a great idea if every year we test for 3 new contaminants and we'll just make water cleaner and cleaner and cleaner and cleaner. Except they did not put a cutoff point on it. It's that too. It's the money too. And now it's insane the amount of testing that the government requires, and it is expensive. And it's expensive because you have to use additional chemicals especially the surface water plants, in order for them to meet the standards again. And they just keep lowering them, and it's going to continue because they didn't put a cutoff date on it.
Yeah.
So it's just crazy things. We need to hit the reset button and say enough is enough is enough. Not that we don't want clean water, but my first husband and my current husband both worked with the water departments. And so I learned way more than I probably should know about the water. So you're not going to find me drinking a lot of it. I know they tell, your body's made mostly water. How you know? But how do you know that though?
Most people.
How do you know that?
Yeah.
See, that's where I'm going on Olive. But how do you know that will really work? When I go to my doctor, how do you want me to take that and do what? I said, you do realize that pill destroys my liver. So in 5 years, I won't have a liver, but I'll have low blood pressure.
So it's basically a loss. Yeah.
I can do things to bring my blood pressure down. Avoid stress.
Yeah.
Eat healthier if it's really such a thing today, because it's all chemicals. But some stuff, eat less fried foods.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's a lot. It is a lot, but I don't mean to take us all off. We went down a rabbit hole. My fault. I apologize for that.
No, you speaking facts. Yeah.
Reset. But doing your work, start over. Stop. This is one thing my godmother, she's 89, lives in Atlanta. She told me one day, she was telling me something, and she said, and I said, well, I'm trying. And she said, oh, no, you're not. What do you mean I'm not? No, you're not. She said, there's no such thing as trying. You either do or you don't. That made it real clear for me when she said that. So when you can't try to hit the reset button, that's like, I'm trying to hit the brakes. You don't know where the brake is in your own car. You've been driving the same car all this time. You don't know where I'm trying to hit the brakes. Now, if something wrong with the brake line and the brakes won't work, that's different. But to try to hit the reset button, you just make the decision that you want to reset and hit the button. Quit denying the situation. Denying it is not going to fix it. It only pushes it down. And after a certain point, you're talking about snapping and exploding and postal, all the terms they have for it today, where people go off is what we used to say. Oh, she went off.
Crashing out. Crashing out, yeah.
Crashing out, yeah. That's the newest one that I've heard. But just to be able to hit that button and don't push things down. You have to have a plan for, how do I work through trauma? How do I work through stress? How do I work through anger? How do I work through whatever it might be? You have to have a plan in place on how you're going to work through different things that come in your life. But denying it that it's a problem is not going to fix it. This morning, it could have been a whole nother situation, because he's doing one message, I'm doing another one. Well, we can't do them both at the same time because they're not the same. They're not connected like that. But just hitting a pivot and say, okay, I think it was easier for him, since he, again, already had been putting his time and studying to that. I already studied a lot of the stuff, so it was just easy for me to pivot and keep it going. And then learning how to cope with, what kind of coping mechanisms do you have? I love to paint. I love to create. I love to write. I love to sing. So doing those things when you're feeling stressed or overwhelmed, find something that's really going to work for you so you can get through it. And then define your priorities and your goals. I have priorities and goals and dreams for my life that some of them I didn't get to in my younger years, so they have just fell off. They just, unfortunately, they fell off. But there are still others that I want to get to, like going to Africa and being able to travel extensively outside the country. And I want to go to all 50 states before I die. I've gone to 37. I got a few more to get done, so I can check that off my life to-do list.
Well, don't say that. People people live a long time. Don't say you're gonna die.
Well, I'm just saying before I die, we came here to die.
Yeah.
So at some point, and I'm gonna tell this to y'all: don't come to my funeral telling me how wonderful I was and this and that. If you have never had that conversation with me, save that, because I won't be able to hear it. And so you're saying it for the other people instead of telling them how wonderful I was. Tell them how wonderful they are. Because I won't be able to hear it.
Tell her that
I can't
now
appreciate
while
it.
she can
That's what
hear
I'm saying.
you
Give me my
and
flowers
your
now.
yes.
I love words of appreciation. But we just have to do certain things. So if you're going to start over, you have to set your priorities and your goals. Again, some that I have today, I can still do. Others have to just go on and pass that off to somebody else. Declutter and simplify your life, because sometimes that keeps us from seeing the clarity that we need. Be willing to step out of your comfort zone. Try something new and different. I went bungee. I took a bungee fitness class for just on my to-do list for my birthday. I was flying.
And she wouldn't let me go watch either.
No, I wouldn't. I invited my girls. I didn't want them to feel uncomfortable. Not my daughters, but my friends. I didn't want them to feel uncomfortable. Joe's over there snapping pictures of us in awkward positions. Showing I'm a woo-ha. No, we're not doing that. We're not doing that. But just be willing to get outside of your comfort zone and try something new, something different. If it works, it works. If it doesn't, it's fine. But you might find that you like something that you didn't think that you would like pickle beets. I love them. Reconnect with things that give your life meaning. What gives your life meaning? What gives your life meaning? Don't say me.
I have nothing to say then.
Every day.
What gives your life meaning?
Music, Lord, enjoying you.
What about you, Stephen?
You know me, I say my God, my mama, and my siblings, and everything. You know?
Yeah. I thoroughly enjoy music, and I had to learn to enjoy music other than just church music. But just, I don't like all music because I think some of it does not uplift or benefit me. But music in life, and I love having a kingdom partner in you.
Amen.
And being able to spend our life together and explore, have adventure, go have fun, act like little kids sometimes. Do you have something?
So we first step is recognize the reality of trauma and not to deny it. Second step that I had was embrace God's divine intention for good, realizing that we need to trust God and realize that the bigger picture is that God is going to use it if we put, it's like our friend told us one time, God, you got me in this situation now. The ball's in your court. It's up to you to take care of it and provide. I'm just trying to follow and do what you want me to do. And then choose the path to get reset. And that in Joseph's case, for example, he did not minimize the wrong decisions that the brothers made, but he also showed mercy towards them. And we many times need to forgive those who have offended us or whatever, or maybe had a part in causing the traumatic situation. And if we don't forgive, so many times I see people, if they harbor that bitterness because of unforgiveness that remains in their life, and it doesn't mean we have to put ourselves in a position to be hurt again, but we many times live our lives in the past because we just hang on to that bitterness and that unforgiveness in our lives. We need to rebuild our identity in God and pray and ask God to use this situation for good. Recognize that God will, if we give him that opportunity, pray that we would not have this situation. But if the situation of something comes up in our life, okay, God, I know you're going to give me the resources to deal with that. And I can't get away from this without as so many years of pastoring, and they call what I did lay counseling, because I was not state certified, just as a pastor, marriage and family, or whatever the correct terms for that's supposed to be. But one thing I think we need to learn to avoid when we talk about trauma and resetting our life is this self-martyrdom thing. That means self-martyrdom means we treat trauma as inherently good. Now, that's a very important word. We treat trauma, grief, loss as inherently good or divinely ordained in and of itself. Let me get my Google thing up here. And martyrdom is the selfless sacrifice of one's life or well-being for a deeply held cause. In contrast, self-martyrdom, or is sometimes referred to as martyr complex, is a psychological behavior where an individual chronically sacrifices their needs in order to gain control, to elicit guilt, or seek validation. In martyrdom, the sacrifice is made for an objective external cause, religious, political, humanitarian, that the individual values more than their own. The self-martyrdom transactional need is the sacrifice is performative. Individuals with a martyr complex constantly put themselves in situations where they give up their well-being, but they expect to be recognized and praised for it. The hidden goal is often control, power, or validation. By doing everything for others, they gain leverage, making others feel indebted or guilty. I can't remember all of the times that we have those situations, and you got to put your thinking cap on as you think through what I'm saying, because this is thoughtful stuff, and I'll probably make somebody mad. But how many times did I, as a pastor, have to deal with the church drama queen, and it didn't make any difference? If there was not some drama going on in her life, she would go and she would create it and make it and keep it going. How many crying drunks have I sat with and trying to counsel? I appreciate all the situations that would contribute to their life, but the worst one I sat with was a fella named Bill, and he would always show up and he would park out in front of the parsonage, and of course I'd like, somebody's out in front of the house. I'd go out and say, well, it's Bill. He didn't last very long because he drank Coca-Cola half and half with rubbing alcohol, which pickled him and did away with him really fast. But it was the same thing. It was this crying drunk situation. It's not my fault. He didn't want to do anything. He didn't want here. It was always everybody else's fault. We have those situations where people are living a toxic relationship with somebody. Eloise is an example of that, how it was hurting her with dealing with an unfaithful husband. We have the spouse that is in a situation where they're going to stay in that toxic situation so they can eventually heal them. We have the church leaders who's always being persecuted. And if they didn't find somebody some situation that they were being persecuted in, they would create that situation. It's not those people need to have a reset. Those people need to look into their own lives and realize they're causing their own problems because they won't take responsibility for themselves and for their lives. And they literally seek these things. And and so many of them, sister so-and-so calls at so in the morning and good and well, yeah, okay. It's like, okay, I appreciated the first 30 times you called, but we've now got up, to this is every 2 or 3 days. We're okay. What is it? there's a point where we create those things ourselves, and we have to realize that we're doing that, and it's time for a reset in our lives and in their lives.
Yeah, self-perpetuated trauma where you
Mhm.
you get stuck in it, and the tape plays over
Yeah,
and over and
yeah.
over again. So you're stuck in that situation. You don't know how to get out of it. It's like a baby. If a baby was stuck when they were being born, they need the help of a midwife or the forceps, something to force them out of the position they're locked in and into something else. And I'm going back to when you was talking about Joseph. The whole issue with Joseph is that he shined bright like a diamond. We'll use Rihanna's words.
Yeah.
And because he was shining bright like a diamond, people had a problem with him. And
Yes,
so
exactly.
it caused jealousy, strife, envy, all those things. But even though those negative things happened to him, that did not dull his shine. He still remembered who he was.
Yes, he did.
He still pressed forward into the cause and purpose of which he was called, and he went on to do great things. He was the governor, and so he went on to do great things and be able to then the people, his family members who sold him into slavery, they were coming back around needing help. Oh, now you need me.
Yeah.
And he could have went there.
Yeah, he could have.
Now you need me. But when
Yeah.
I was trying to help you and trying to plot a way for us to get out of this situation, now I was the low man on the totem pole. But no, he didn't. He didn't get caught up in all of his feelings or his unforgiveness. Not to say that it's not justified in how we feel. We're not saying that people's feelings are not justified. But in spite of how you feel, you still have to move forward, because it will only hurt you. That would hurt him if he would have took the attitude of
done his personal pity party.
Yeah. And it would have prevented him from reaching the position of governor, because ain't nobody trying to appoint you as governor and you are acting a fool out here, tripping out with everybody, taking it out on people that don't have anything to do with the situation. He didn't do that. He moved from a position of the trauma that had happened to him and moved into his purpose and the greatness of what he was called to do. And he continued to pivot forward, moving forward to be all that he was created to be, and be able then to help not just his family. His family wasn't even part of the people. So they got caught up and got in there. They got favor, but they wasn't originally part of the people that were supposed to receive the benefit. They were from another area, but they received the same benefit because God had mercy on them. He didn't even hold their stuff against them. And that's what we need to remember. We're going to make mistakes in life because, again, like I said earlier, it's not about being perfect. It's about obtaining balance in your life so that you can be able to know when, how to do the left hand or the right hand. What am I supposed to be doing? It's about maintaining that balance.
Come in faith and approach God with that faith and recognize and affirm to him that trauma does not have the final word in your life. God does.
It shouldn't.
It shouldn't.
Yeah.
But so many people let it be.
Yeah.
Instead of giving it to God and trusting him.
Yeah, like when I hear your story about Bill, which I hope that is a made up name.
No.
I asked my husband, Bill, I am so sorry. Well, I know you're no longer here on the earth, but I'm so sorry.
Bill was gone
because I asked my husband to change the names to protect the innocent. But when you say things like that, all I can hear is what happened to him.
Yeah.
What happened to him where he had reduced himself to such a low state that he was mixing Coke with rubbing alcohol.
Half and half.
Now, don't nobody else go out there and try that.
It is poison. It'll kill you in a short time. He
don't
didn't
do what
make
Bill
it for very
did.
long. No, Lord, don't do that. I still remember when I worked at the shoe store when I was going to college in Shawnee, and the what was that, 5 and Dime across the street from us.
TGNY? No,
it wasn't TGNY. Anyway, we'd watch of course, we had the guys living on the street, and we watched them go in, and they could buy Aqua Velva, which had rubbing alcohol.
Like in that cologne?
Mm-hmm. Come out the store, and yep. Rubbing alcohol. Didn't last long. I've watched them do it. Pop that lid off that aqua velvet and down it because it is a buck for a pie.
Yeah, hit the reset button. Definitely time to hit the reset button when we get to those kind of efforts where we are just, our pain is so great, we'd rather just destroy ourselves.
And don't thank God for the pain. Thank God for his presence in that pain.
Yeah. Because he's going to be with us, and he's the one that helps us make it out. When I was going through that situation, God had to help me make it out because it was dark for a pretty good little while in there. I didn't know who to talk to. The church people was, oh, honey, let's just fast and pray and turn our plates over. It's going to be okay. And I'm like, what do you think I've been doing for 30 years at that point? What do you think I've been doing for 30 years trying to get some kind of peace in this situation? But once I hit the reset button and did all those different steps, starting over, stop denying, define my priorities, decluttered and simplified, stepped out of my comfort zone because then I went from being married to being single, reconnect with things that gave my life meaning, going to college and getting an education because that was part of the things my mom taught us, get a good education. But to maintain that, we have to maintain your reset by measuring your personal growth. Again, every time I had 5 of my 7 babies made it. Every time I took them to the doctor, 2 things they were going to do: measure them and weigh them, because real growth is measurable. So when you're maintaining your reset, you want to measure yourself, keep evaluating, see, am I making the progress that I need to be making? I can look at my life and I can truly say, yes, I've made a lot of progress. There's just some things that I want to accomplish, but I went on from never going to college to going to college and getting my doctorate degree. And now I'm working on my 2nd doctorate and my chaplain certification and getting these things lined up so that I can position myself. People might say, well, Eloise, you at your age, you can just retire and sit down. No, I can't. I cannot. Maybe they can. I cannot. I sit down and I retire, then I don't get to Africa. I don't get to Italy. I don't get to England. I don't get to Switzerland. I could, but I wouldn't be happy. I wouldn't be satisfied. And a personal reset is not a one and done situation. Nope. It's not a one-time event. You have to reset and reset. Part of that is renewing our minds with the word of God and rejecting that old mindset, deleting those old tapes. And sometimes that means people too. When you find out that toxic people are in your life and they're just feeding you and triggering you and causing more trauma, hit that reset button and put some new boundaries in place.
Put some boundaries.